We are on the road to Judgment Day, and this is episode 2 on the road to Judgment Day. But we have to start things off with a moment of silence because of the sad events that took place last night within the PWHL.
What?
PWHL Vancouver stole the most beautiful player in the league
No, they
away
didn't.
from the Toronto Scepters. Sarah Nurse is no longer a Toronto
Laugh
Scepter.
reacts only. Laugh reacts only, folks.
Uh, Sad reacts only. Moment of silence. The cutest tandem, the cutest 1-2 punch in PWHL history. It was broken up earlier in the year when the Scepters had the bright idea to trade poor Olivia Knowles to the New York, whatever the hell their names are.
We're the sirens, motherfucker.
This is the Sirens. Yeah, well, screw them. Hopefully, I'll be honest. If Vancouver, she is available. Olivia Knowles is actually available in the whole situation, the expansion draft. So if Vancouver actually takes her, I will be considering rooting for 2 teams this year because I'm still a Scepters fan. Even though Sarah Nurse was the reason I became a fan of theirs, like I can't not root for them. That's the team I went with. I'm gonna stick with them. But if Nursey and Knowlesley get reunited, I'm rooting for 2 teams this year. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, you know
But
what, Frank? I only have one thing.
yeah, it's a sad moment.
Oh, play you the world's smallest violin, you lost precious little player.
See, he thinks this is a joke. This is one of the saddest. This is
This
the
is real.
saddest moment in PWHL history. 2 of the
Yep.
saddest moments in the history of this league have happened in less than a calendar year. First, Knowlesy gets traded, and now Nursey is gone. The worst thing to happen in the history of this great league that has been around for only 2 years, and they're going on year 3. He's banned. But you keep laughing, but your Sirens are gonna get smacked by Toronto this year. Just remember that.
Oh
And
yeah, I certainly care about sirens.
you just said we when or a few minutes ago. I said I don't know what their names is. You said we're the Sirens.
Oh, I said they're the sirens.
I thought you said we're the Sirens. It sounded like you said
They're
we're
the
the
sirens. Get the name right, motherfucker.
Sirens.
Mr. PWHL.
Yeah. Well. Uh, Hopefully, I will be watching Vancouver games this year since Nurse is now with them. But if Olivia Knowles ends up on them with them too, then I will legitimately consider them my second favorite team.
Big Canuck fan over here.
But anyway, tonight we are going over the March 25th, 2004 edition of Smackdown here on the B Show, FCT, ENT, our B Show as well, FCT's Retro Wrestling Reviews. This is the B Show on YouTube. just like
As in best.
just like Booker T says, SmackDown is the B Show.
B show.
March 25th, 2004 SmackDown. This is the first SmackDown after the draft lottery that saw Triple H get drafted to SmackDown.
Ooh, can't wait to see him.
But it also was the night. Where Paul Heyman, the SmackDown GM, was drafted to Raw, and then subsequently quit because he will never work for a low-down piece of crap like Eric Bischoff.
I do like that he has standards. Like even like William's like this horrible person, but even he's like, no, fuck that. I'll never work for Eric Bischoff.
But anyway, I haven't asked yet. Tro, how you doing?
I am doing fine. You know, I'm confident in the Pacers kicking Thunder ass. The we got the Oilers kicking
Yeah,
the Panthers' ass.
Oilers won game one last night, and
The series is over. The Oilers have won the cup. Congratulations
and
to them.
fuck Sling, by the way. I DVR'd game one. Game one went deep into
The
overtime. And literally with 1 minute left in the first overtime, my DVR cut out, so I didn't get to see the whole game. So fuck Sling on that. By the way, Mister, I'm confident that the Pacers will win. Let's focus. Yeah, check that. 67-55.
yeah, but
The
they also
blue,
came back. They
the better
came. They
team.
came back from like down 20 in like 30 seconds against the Knicks. So
That's the Knicks. You're talking about the
yeah,
best
you're
team
the
in the league
Thunder.
right here.
You're the Thunder.
80 wins. 80 wins. You ain't coming back on us.
I mean, that's not regular season wins, so they don't really count.
Most teams, except for that great Warrior team, most teams that have won 80 games have won the NBA Finals. Just one team, and that same Warrior team did it a couple of years. They did it like 3 times, and one time they didn't do it. The other times they did. Literally, only one team in NBA history has had an 80 wins or more season and not won the finals.
and soon it'll be two.
The Thunder are not about to be
It'll
number
be
two.
two. But the Atlanta Braves season is over. They they were eliminated today by the Diamondbacks after blowing a 7-run lead or
the
something like that.
Braves were in the dugout today making the our Bradshaw joke. Like if Bradshaw was here right now, he would say that the Diamondbacks are down but not out. And then you know what the name of the pitcher was who started the inning?
Who?
Blew it.
Oh,
The poor guy. I hate the Braves, but I legitimately feel bad for that guy. He has the worst name to be in a situation like this. And although he legitimately started the inning and definitely did give up a couple of runs, he's not the only guy that blew it. You know, that's the joke.
you
That
blew it.
the poor guy did not need to be in that situation with a last name like that. He's the last guy that should have started that inning. He should have never been anywhere near. Everybody else, I loved watching the Braves completely implode today. I
Phillies
loved it.
lost, which is nice.
Great. But then we screwed up our own. On our own.
Lindor's hurt, which is horrible.
Lindor, obviously
They
you
did put him
don't
on the 10-day IL.
right, but
Right now.
he'll be back. He'll be back soon. You don't
No,
want
they
Lindor.
haven't. They haven't put him on there. I'm saying they should.
Yeah, well, you don't want Lindor hurt at any time, but
Exactly.
he'll be back soon though.
We're
So
facing the
it's
Rockies next. I mean, it's not exactly like
the
big
the
challenge.
red hot Rockies. We were.
Best
I
team in
don't.
baseball.
I think we were off air when you were joking like this, but you were joking that they were going to have the best June ever, and they've now won 3 of their. Well, I don't know. Have they played a game since sweeping Miami? They've
No,
won at least 3.
because
Yeah,
they're our next series.
they've won 3 of their 4 June games. We're the only team. We are the only team to have beat the Rockies in June.
Yeah, I mean, if we sweep them, we'll still only be the only team to beat the Rockies in June.
That's true. Well, no matter what happens in this series, we'll still be the only team to beat.
We are the best. Round. Can't wait to see Colorado in the NLCS this year.
Yeah, the Rockies are about to do what they did in September of 07, but they got to do it for like 3 months. Like they literally lost like 1 game.
Like, imagine they have like a perfect postseason and then they lose. They get swept again in the World Series.
That's what I can't believe that. That's what happened in the to them in 07, and some of that has to do with the layoff. Everybody said that, especially a team like that had legitimately like won 20 going into the playoffs. They had won like 22 of their last 23. Something ridiculously amazing like that. And then they swept the NLDS, they swept the NLCS, the Red Sox in the ALCS had to play the Guardians for 7 games. Yeah, 7 games. So they were not rested. They were ready to go.
Yeah, that's what happened to us.
Yeah,
we beat the Phillies too fast, and then the Dodgers played 5 games against the Padres.
We also did not have a pitching staff that
Yeah, but
was
we're also
ready.
rested.
You get okay, but yeah, but our pitching staff was not ready for those bats. They were not. But yeah, the
You know,
Rockies swept their way to the World Series and then got swept. It's one of the craziest things
they didn't have
ever.
the lead once that whole World Series. By the
Yeah,
way,
and
it was a curb stomp.
well, I was talking about earlier how I may end up having a second PWHL team. I don't have like second teams in sports because it's hard to be passionate about multiple teams. But I've always considered like who would be my second team for like every sport, and the one team for baseball is the Rockies. And well, thank God for the Mets because I would be one of the most disappointed baseball fans in the world right now. But the
No,
reason why
no,
the
Rocky fans still come out to the games and they're happy because they're
well,
all high.
well, the reason why the Rockies would be number two, it damn sure ain't has nothing to do with that ballpark because I hate that ballpark. But that '07 run, I mean, who wasn't rooting for the Rockies at that time?
Red
Like
Sox,
I obviously, well, neither were the
Dodgers.
Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks in the who they beat in the NLD? Well, they beat the Diamondbacks in the NLDS, right? Who they beat in the NLCS? No, they beat the Phillies in the NLDS, right? That's so
Yeah,
I obviously was rooting for them in the
that would have
NLDS.
been us be defeated by killed by
That's
the
right.
Rockies.
That's right. I don't think our bullpen would not have been able to beat that Rockies team with them being as red hot as they were. But that being said, I would have rather won the division and get knocked out by the Rockies than have that horrible collapse. Like people would have said, well, they got beat by a red hot team. What are you gonna do? Which is still not good. It's not good for a team that had World Series aspirations, but it's not historically bad. What they ultimately did do in 2007 was historically bad. And thank God for the 2011 Red Sox because it's not a MLB worst anymore. But anyway,
Well,
we're not
they collapsed so bad that they changed the fucking playoff format.
one of the greatest days in MLB history. That final game of the 2011 season. It's like somebody who did not have a rooting interest. That was amazing to see. But anyway, we're not here to talk baseball. We're not here to talk hockey or basketball. Even though, as you can see, my team is currently playing in the NBA Finals. But it shows how much of a basketball fan I am. That the game literally is going on right now. And you can see my TV ain't even on, and I'm here sitting here giving anybody who will watch this podcast hopefully some decent entertainment for you guys. But I'm still pulling for the Thunder. I'm gonna watch the game maybe later tonight or tomorrow. But again, it's just basketball's not a huge passion of mine. So yeah, I finally get a team that's in a championship series for the first time in 10 years since the Mets made the World Series in 15. It's the team I'm least passionate about of all my favorite teams. But anyway, we are here to talk about the March 25th, 2004 edition of Smackdown. So let's kick it off right now. We open with a recap, a video package of Monday Night Raw, which had the draft. They showed all the stuff that went down with some of the bigger picks. Obviously, Triple H, who was extremely pissed off that he had gotten drafted. They showed the whole thing with John Cena, by the way, was the one who actually pulled. And by the way, we get no love for Cena on that draft episode because he came out in the Lions Barry Sanders jersey, but that's
I don't
beyond that.
mind that.
Well, I do. You can see why behind me, but he came out and he actually made the pick that ultimately was Triple H. And Eric Bischoff is like, no, 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 that he can't do that. He can't do that. He is not the GM. He can't be making selections. And then, or no, um, oh no. Paul Heyman was like, no, 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 I can't. He can't. He ain't about to do this. I'm the GM, not him. And then John Cena makes the pick. Paul Heyman sees who it is. He's like, okay, it's Triple H. And now everything spins. And that's when Bischoff is like, no, that doesn't count. He goes to Mr. McMahon, says that doesn't count. Mr. McMahon shoots it down. We'll go into full detail on the whole show again on the road to Backlash '04 whenever we get to that.
Yeah.
But that was the big moments, and then the main event, Eddie Guerrero, Triple H, kind of a very memorable match. First of all, for the fact that Eddie and Triple H didn't really wrestle one on one that much in their careers, but also the brawl that took place afterwards. So anyway, we kick off the show with Triple H, with SmackDown's brand new star, Triple
Oh yeah.
H. It's all about the game hits, and nobody comes out, and they're not doing this. Cole and Taz are not doing the. Well, where is he? Where? Because at this point it's been a few seconds, but Cole and Triple and Taz are just hyping this up. They're like, "Yeah, Triple H is here. Triple H is here." And then after a few seconds, Kurt Angle comes out in a suit, and there is a reason why he's in a suit, and he's not the new member of Evolution, because normally when Evolution comes out to cut promos, they're in suits. Kurt Angle hasn't been drafted or traded to Raw, and Taz and Cole bring that up too as he's walking the ring. He's like, we don't know why he's here, but thank God that means he wasn't traded. So Kurt Angle comes to the ring. He says, he's the new GM. That's what he tells us. And he says he's not going to let the SmackDown roster, push him around, unlike how Paul Heyman allowed that. And that's why when Triple H got into Kurt Angle's face earlier tonight and demanded a rematch with Eddie Guerrero, Kurt said no. Not only did he say no, you can't be getting in the GM's face like this. He traded Triple H back to Raw. Michael Cole and Taz, mostly Taz. Taz was like, "Oh, come on, that's a bad move, Kurt. What are you doing?" And then he's like, "But who did we give up? Who did we acquire though? This maybe he's the wheels are turning. It's like a sports fan. We just traded Juan Soto. What are you doing? But who do we give up? This may be a good thing." He reveals he traded Triple H for one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Dudley Boys. Dudley Boys music hits, but they don't come out. That's just to be like that. That's who it is. I don't know if their music really needed to play if they're not going to come out. He also says he traded them. He also acquired a man who has something to say, and he's going to come out and say that right now. And that is the former 5-time WCW champion Booker T. Booker T comes out and he is not happy about this. Tro, if you were working for Monday Night Raw and you got traded to SmackDown, how would you feel about that? You get to work on UPN, bro. Come on now.
Yeah.
UPN was a great network. And I know, business-wise, they really weren't, but hey, they had some good programming that needs to be recognized. But go ahead. If you were traded to SmackDown, how would you feel about it?
I'd be pissed.
I'll be honest. I would be pajama boy in that situation because while I did watch Raw a few times as a kid, I didn't necessarily grow up with Raw. I grew up with SmackDown. So I'd be posting pictures on X of me sleeping with SmackDown blankets, which I did not really have as a kid. I'm obviously joking, but not joking about the pajama boy stuff because we're both Islander fans, and some of our fan base thinks that putting on another team's jersey makes you a snake, but that's regardless of the point. But no, SmackDown for me. That's where I grew up on, especially these SmackDowns, 2003, 2004. But Booker T, not so much happy about this. He says that the Raw fans appreciated him. And he says the SmackDowns are the minor leagues, the B show, essentially. Angle says that he understands that, as SmackDown fans don't appreciate great athletes like himself. But Kurt Angle and Booker T, we're going to change that, he says. And the SmackDown fans are going to start appreciating great athletes like Booker T. I thought this was a great segment to start the show. The big swerve where you think Triple H is coming out. And even for me back then, I didn't get, again, like I said, I didn't watch Raw that much. So this was big, man. Like Triple H on SmackDown. I'm gonna get to watch Triple H every week now. And then they took it away from me, and like, you know, 10 going on 11-year-old me was like, are you kidding? I thought I was gonna get to see Triple H. But yeah, the promo is great. You have to keep Evolution together at this point, so I understand it. Maybe in that moment I wasn't exactly I was more upset because I kind of was like, damn, I'm gonna get to see Triple H. But yeah, Booker T turning heel. We established, because Booker T was a babyface when he was on SmackDown. We're establishing Booker as a heel. We're established. Well, I don't know if we're not establishing Kurt as a heel, obviously, because he already is a heel.
Yeah,
But this is the beginning of Kurt as a heel GM, and it was a great way to start it, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on the opening segment here?
that was good. And Booker T is justified in his anger. Um, Kurt's, I guess, just makes himself the GM. I guess that's just
well,
allowed.
well, backstage, the somebody when Paul Heyman quit, he just threw his GM card on the floor, and
He
Kurt
threw his
Angle
he threw his jacket.
he threw his GM card on the floor, and Kurt Angle just happened to walk by. He's like, "Oh, look at this! Oh, I'm the new
So
SmackDown GM."
Eugene could have picked it up.
Eugene could have absolutely picked it up, and then he would have
Oh
had to
man,
been he would have had to been forced traded to SmackDown, which I don't think Uncle Eric would have had an issue with.
imagine Eugene as the GM. That would make for a good episode of Raw.
It
Hmm.
would. Has Eugene even debuted yet?
Yes, he
Oh, okay.
debuted the night after WrestleMania.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, then you'd immediately end the whole storyline there, because now Bischoff just wins right away. He gets to get rid of.
William Regal gets to join the main roster, and boom.
We show they show highlights of the WrestleMania Revenge tour, where essentially Tony Chimmel's just they cut to every city they went to, and Tony Chimmel saying like "Good evening, guys," and they show highlights from the show and then interview fans. A little bit of a cool little recap of the tour. And the tour actually comes into play in the main story of this show. We'll see that a little later on. Next up, I said RVD. I didn't say it here. I said it in the last episode. I said that RVD was a part of the trade because I thought he was. I'd always remembered that he was. He was actually drafted to SmackDown, so he was not a
That's right.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was not a part of that trade. The trade was 3 future first round picks, which Kurt Angle did not mention that, but SmackDown did acquire 3 future first round picks, Booker T, the Dudley Boys, and they gave Raw Triple H. That's the full trade details. Adam Schefter, I still remember Adam Schefter actually dropping the bomb and revealing it to everybody before the show.
it was a Woj bomb.
Yeah, well, it was a Woj bomb and it was a Schefter bomb too. So RVD making his SmackDown return. It's obviously he had wrestled on SmackDown before, but in the brand extension, this is like his SmackDown debut. But he's taking on Charlie Haas. And this was a decent way to open the show. Crowd behind RVD, obviously, and Charlie Haas is in a position here where they're not going to know what to do with him yet, because Shelton Benjamin was obviously brought over. He's the guy. They want to make him the guy, and that's why he beat Triple H on like his first 2 weeks on Raw. They don't know what they're doing with Charlie Haas yet. We're gonna find out what they do with Charlie Haas real soon,
Yeah,
but not here on this show. RVD gets the win with a roll up. It was a decent match. Like I said, crowd was into it. I give it a 2.5 stars. Tro, your thoughts on RVD versus Charlie Haas?
I thought it was fine. RVD is good in the ring, and Charlie Haas is trying to establish himself as a single star for now.
Which, spoiler alert, he will not be. He's going to
Nope.
be a tag team specialist, which there is nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely make a career as a tag team specialist, just as Devon, who's got a nice little YouTube channel going for him right now. And obviously, he had some singles runs, as we just went over the Reverend Devon thing, which was a very underrated character in my opinion. But for the most part, Devon made a career out of being a tag team specialist, and during this run, where Charlie Haas kind of becomes the tag team specialist of SmackDown during this time period, we get a very entertaining tag team with him and Rico. Now, I really can't tell. They threw him in a lot of random ass, him being Charlie Haas, and a lot of random
Yeah.
ass tag teams after that. But at least you give him credit. You give him Rico and Miss Jackie Gator credit. They made that work. We get a lot of no raw rebounds just yet, but we do
Mhm.
have a lot of last Monday clips, and we start with back to back last Monday clips. First off, Paul Heyman making the first pick of the draft, and it is 20-year-old. Speaking of YouTubers, Renee Dupree. And then we have another.
Bon.
Yep. And then we have another last Monday, the brawl at the end of the Raw, the brawl at the end of Raw, aforementioned brawl. And Taz calls it one of his proudest moments as SmackDown commentator that SmackDown stood up and came into Raw's show and stood up and didn't let them take
Yeah.
control. And then Cole says that SmackDown dominated the night. Your main event was Eddie Guerrero versus, at the time, SmackDown star Triple H, the hot second SmackDown star Triple H. But he also thanks Raw and the Raw fans for their hospitality.
Taz is over like, fuck you and fuck the fans, Raw fans. Your hospitality sucks.
No, he did agree with a Cole after that. After Cole said that, he just showing his pride for the blue brand. What's so wrong about that?
Fuck you, Eric Bischoff. Fuck you, JR. I would have slapped you in your face, but it looks like God already beat me to it.
Yeah, well, Taz did say that once, sadly. Your number one overall pick, Renee Dupree, who did not have the type of career that former number one overall pick Caleb Williams is going to have, but
Well, you see if Caleb Williams had Fifi, change things.
He's got his own talents. He doesn't need Fifi. Rene Dupree making his SmackDown debut, and this is a legitimate SmackDown debut because obviously La Resistance had been on Raw their whole careers, except as when we went over the road to Backlash, we did see a Sylvain Grenier appearance. I can't remember if that was a Raw or a SmackDown episode. Though. It
Raw.
might have been a Raw. But obviously, Sylvain Grenier a year later.
He was literally the first person we saw on the road to.
That's pretty crazy. But yeah.
Because Jericho attacks him.
Yeah. But we do see Sylvain Grenier on SmackDown a few times in early 2003, where obviously he was the ref for No Way Out. That wasn't an episode of SmackDown, but I think he may have made a few appearances during around that No Way Out 03 WrestleMania 19 time period. But Renee Dupree SmackDown debut against Billy Kidman. I'm a big Billy Kidman fan. I was a big La Resistance fan. But this wasn't meant to be a special match. And it wasn't. It was just, we're introducing Rene Dupree.
It was a showcase match.
Yeah, showcase Rene Dupree. And obviously they had plans for him that didn't work out. Michael Cole even mentioned he's the youngest tag team champion of all time at 20 years old. He no longer is that. That's a record that WWE will never be broken because I think the youngest tag team champ was like 8 years old or something.
Yep,
that's
Nicholas.
A record. Yeah, Nicholas. That's a record that will never be broken. I give this 1 star. Dupree wins with what I believe Taz. It was either Taz or Michael Cole called a modified sit-out powerbomb. We have 2 matches that
the
end
Dupree
with,
bomb.
He may have called it the Dupree bomb, but later.
Well, they might have not. yet, but that's what it
Yeah,
is.
not yet. It's called the modified sit-out powerbomb here. 2 matches on this show end with a modified move. But after the match, John Cena comes out and he welcomes Rene Dupree to SmackDown. But he's got to introduce him to some people. He introduces him first to Taz. He's a thug. And he introduces him to Michael Cole. He's gay. Just straight up, like we said, this was the running gag between with John Cena and Michael Cole in 2004. He says he's here to teach Dupree some things that he needs to know. First off, don't leave your watch or your wallet around Eddie Guerrero. That fool has pickpocketed me about 5 times, still owes me $50, and on top of that, he still has my ID. The most important, though, that it's easy to remember this, though, he says, don't go near a bathroom after Big Show or Rikishi. He says for Dupree to get his eyes off Cena's equipment, as Cena doesn't care how bad Dupree wants some. This chain ain't for yanking, and don't touch my Magic Johnson, as he was wearing a Michigan State Magic Johnson jersey. He says that the French have their own ways, but he won't judge. Which good on John Cena, but I don't think Rene Dupree is gay either. 2004 John Cena, you're gay. That's John Cena.
That's
If
pretty
you're
much all
in
the
my
humor. To be fair, that was like DX's 2006 humor, basically. You're
true.
gay.
I
Shit.
think I think that was some of DX's attitude era. I think DX was kind of calling Michael Cole gay before anybody else was.
You're gay. Asses. Shit.
Oh my gosh. Now where were we? Yeah, he won't judge, which good on good on Cena for that. But again, Rene Dupree's not gay. He says he'd introduce Dupree to the fans, but they want nothing to do with him. They know that the French sucks. Plus, they're throwing up the W. He says he's got something Dupree can do. Pulls out a bag of nuts and says, choke on these nuts, which a fan audibly yells, choke on these nuts before John Cena can even get it out. Which, I grew up on SmackDown. I was so in love with SmackDown at the time. I was such a big fan of John Cena. I was literally going to like bodegas and buying those bags of nuts just so I can throw it at friends and be like, choke on these. That's like, again, I was like 11 years old. That's what happens. Kids see stuff on TV and they want to react and they want to do it themselves. Thankfully, I wasn't reenacting the wrestling parts of the wrestling shows.
You mean you didn't hit a shooting star press on one of your friends, but you moved out of the way at the last second and you landed on your head?
Do you think I'd be sitting here with you right now?
Yes, because Brock Lesnar did.
I don't have the neck bridge that.
You never tried to embalm one of your friends?
I did not see 1998 WWE back when it happened.
Yeah, so back then it was an embalming pandemic. Everyone was just trying to embalm each other.
So, yeah, the Cena segment was really good. John Cena, again, he's freaking calling everybody gay, which they're not. Cole isn't and Dupree isn't, but that's not even a good knock. Like, hey, your sexual orientation is this, but other than that, John Cena back then was.
You choose to sleep with person of your same gender.
Sadly, in places that can get you shot and killed, but that's just the way this world is. Sadly, but yeah, Cena was extremely entertaining back in. Not that he isn't anymore, but back then, 2004, he was great, and he was great in this segment here too. Thoughts on Billy Kidman versus Rene Dupree and the segment with Cena and Dupree?
Dupree versus Kidman was fine. It was just a quick little showcase for Dupree. Beating Kidman at this point isn't really much of an accomplishment.
Oh, come on, shooting star press, man. That man does a shooting star press. You can run. You can run. Listen, you can run if you want to, but you can't hide.
But I
The
think
segment,
the reason why they were doing the French is bad
right?
part here, other than it just being like common, like haha, France sucks. This would have been '03,
Oh
no
four,
04.
oh four, yeah.
So I think this is right on time where France was like, "We're not going to help you in Iraq." So it was, "Oh, French sucks. French this."
Okay. 85-76 after three. The right team.
Well, see, the Pacers are coming back.
Nope. Uh, so that's all you got to say about the.
Yeah,
That's it. Okay. Like I said, a lot of recaps, not just of Raw, but of last week's SmackDown. We have a recap of the end of SmackDown, which we literally just went over yesterday, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But obviously, Paul Heyman got hit with Tombstone. You want to hear more about that? Just watch our last show, which was last night. Rikishi and Scotty Tuhati interviewed by Josh Matthews. Mr. Matthews asked them their feelings on Paul Heyman quitting and Kurt Angle becoming GM of SmackDown. Rikishi says it is great because it opens up opportunity for the rest of SmackDown, and that is when Theodore Long interrupts the interview, and he says SmackDown picked him because they knew they need some flavor. No disrespect to what Teddy Long said, and damn sure no disrespect to Teddy Long, but they really just needed a replacement for Kurt Angle once he's ready to come back from his injury. The GM spot was open, and it was going to be a quick fill by Kurt Angle until he's ready to return. The
holla,
reason why,
holla, holla. My
the re,
character is going to go downhill.
what you got
No,
against
no.
Smack?
I mean, my character development for the past couple of months of me being this angry black man who feels oppressed
Oh, okay,
is going to
yeah.
go downhill to just being a happy face.
I thought you were going to say you got something against GM Teddy Long, but no,
No,
you're right. You're right. Although I thought he was okay with Mark Jindrak. They were trying to recreate
he's the
the
reflection of
reflection of
perfection.
perfection. Yes, and again, 11-year-old me had never seen Lex Luger get in the ring, stand in front of a mirror, so that was new to me. So they were trying to make Mark Jindrak the next Lex Luger, which respects to Mark
Yeah,
Jindrak, he is not.
that's why.
But
That's why they tried to recreate the '93 Royal Rumble ending in 2005.
that had
But they,
nothing to do
but, but
with
they, but they forgot to have Mark Jindrak in that spot.
Jindrak. um, yeah, nothing against Mark Jindrak. I love the whole reflection of perfection thing. It's such a great term too. But obviously, that was more of a velocity thing, which I'm sure
Yeah,
they understood. Like everybody was gonna be like, "Oh, they're trying to make him another Lex
do you ever
Luger."
think he looked at Evolution and said, "Wow, that could have been me"?
Well, it almost was him, which
It
I think
was him. It was him for a photo shoot.
yeah, I think he would have been a perfect fit for Evolution, but it worked out for Evolution. Batista was definitely a perfect fit,
Are
and
you saying
Orton.
that you couldn't picture WrestleMania 21 go off the air with Mark Jindrak beating Triple H?
You never know if he would have got the opportunity. He never got the opportunity. He
No.
had the look. He had the look. He absolutely could have been a star. That's all I'm saying. He absolutely could have been a star, and he never truly got the opportunity.
I think
That
he
being
won the NWA title at one point, but so did Rob Conley, so that's not really an accomplishment.
We do not accept La Resistance hate on this channel, so watch what you say there. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Jindrak is not on this show. We don't see him yet. We may. I don't know if we see him for a couple of weeks, but like I said, he becomes mainly a part on Velocity. He wasn't really even a SmackDown guy per se. He was more Velocity, the real B show to the B
Yeah,
show, as Booker T would call it. They're the B show to the B show.
they're the E show.
So yeah, Teddy Long says SmackDown picked them because they needed some flavor, and he says he's looking for that one great man. or even that one great team. We kind of revealed already who that one great man is, and it's not a team. He
No.
says he says that as tag champs, it means, and again talking about Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty, as tag champs, it means they're good, but they're not great. This enrages Rikishi as he gets in Teddy Long's face, but Teddy Long is like, Listen, listen, I'm looking for new, I'm looking for new stars, and I got a player's card here." He takes out two players' cards. He turns around to Josh Matthews. He's like, "Nope, nope, players' cards only for real players." Holla holla, and he hands two players' cards to Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty, and Rikishi says, as he's looking at it, he says, "It ain't even got ink on it." um, yeah, I think Rikishi was great in this segment. Teddy Long is always great when
Yeah.
in segments like this. So I thought it was a good, short, little backstage interview segment there. What do you think about it?
I thought it was fine. Quick little segment here to show that Teddy Long's now on SmackDown, basically.
Yeah. Now we have a shot in the locker room here where RVD, Rey Mysterio, and a lot of the undercard guys like Spike Dudley, who by the way was drafted to SmackDown here. We have Orlando Jordan
The
and
boss, Spike Dudley, by the way.
Spike Dudley. We see the first inklings of the boss a little later in this show, and Michael Cole and Taz completely ignored.
It's boss time.
I will get to that. We will get to that later, but I love Cole and Taz, but they completely ignore Spike Dudley's character development later in the show. Um, so yeah, a bunch of random guys, but also you got RVD and Rey Mysterio. They're kind of talking to each other. Eddie Guerrero comes in and I just see like this being exactly how a WWE locker room was whenever Eddie Guerrero walked in. As somebody who never knew Eddie Guerrero personally, but everything you hear about him, I feel like this is exactly how a WWE locker room was whenever Eddie Guerrero walked in. He walks in, except for the back part of what happens. But he walks in and he's just shaking everybody's hands. He's like, "Hey," he's so energetic, and everybody's loving to see him. He's like, "How you guys doing?" And everything. He daps up Orlando Jordan. He daps up um, Funaki. He's like, he does the bow down thing to Funaki. Then he pretends to do it to Spike Dudley. He's like, I can't do it to you, but he daps up Spike Dudley. It's a really good showcase of like Eddie
Yeah.
Guerrero's energy and how, even though again these guys are in character, but I believe like this is truly how everybody viewed Eddie Guerrero. Like if he came in the room and started saying what's up to everybody, they'd all be smiling and like being like, "How you doing?" But he says, let me see something. He walks to the locker room. He sees RVD. Welcomes him to SmackDown. He said his win earlier was impressive. Like I said, he's shaking everybody's hands. But then he walks over to Booker T, the camera pans to Booker T. He was not in the shot at the beginning of the segment, but Booker T wants nothing whatsoever to do to Eddie Guerrero. In fact, he actually said in the promo earlier, he said, "I'm better than Eddie Guerrero. I'm bigger than Big Show. I'm better than The Undertaker." To which the crowd actually audibly went, "Oh," when he said Undertaker. I think the WWE writers, the SmackDown writers, actually decided who Booker T's opponent for Judgment Day was going to be in that exact moment, because when he said, "I'm better than the Undertaker," the crowd just went, "Oh!"
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm bigger than Big Show, better than Eddie Guerrero." So Eddie Guerrero comes over to Booker T, and he's trying to be energetic with him. It's like, "How you doing, Booker? Welcome to SmackDown." And Booker T just being the how do you say it, the party pooper for this show. He says he liked it where he was, as Raw was the best competition and it drove him to be the best champ he would be. He could be. But Eddie Guerrero would not know nothing about that, Booker T says, as he's the champ of the minor leagues. Rumble Ponies legend Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
Eddie, Eddie Guerrero gets pissed at this insult from Booker T as he says, "You just insulted every WWE superstar who has ever held this belt, and you have insulted every WWE superstar who has shedded their blood, sweat, and tears to be the best on SmackDown, this B show." Booker T just looks at Eddie Guerrero and spits on the floor, essentially spitting on everything that SmackDown represents. And obviously, what they represent is the B Show. They're the Pacers of pro wrestling here. Booker T spits on the floor. He says, for Eddie to consider himself insulted. That is when Eddie Guerrero's like, "Oh, consider myself insulted," and then he just jumps on Booker T. They brawl. The brawl is immediately broken up by the locker room. One half of the locker room takes Booker out of the room, and the other half just try to control try to control Eddie Guerrero. And we go to commercial, come back from commercial, and it's moments ago literally everything you just saw. But this is something that WWE did a lot back then. I guess DVR wasn't a big thing at this point, although I guess TiVo kind of came in, and I guess maybe they feel like just in case you maybe missed it, we're going to show it again. So your thoughts? Well, first off, I thought again it was a great segment. Eddie Guerrero was so energetic at the beginning, shaking everybody's hands. Everybody loved to see Eddie Guerrero, and then just Booker T just being the party pooper that he is and spitting, literally spitting on the floor, but also spitting in the face of Eddie Guerrero, spitting in the face of SmackDown, saying they're the B show, the minor leagues, the Pacers of pro wrestling at this time. And that led to a very passionate promo by Eddie Guerrero, which we know Eddie Guerrero could do. And he did phenomenal. Eddie Guerrero was the MVP of this segment from being so energetic and then cutting the emotional promo, but also Booker T being the heel here did a great job as well, especially the touch of him spitting on the floor, because to say he's essentially spitting on everything that SmackDown and Eddie Guerrero represents. It was a great segment. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was fine. Pretty good. Pretty good, I guess. It sets up Booker T as the heel.
Yes.
Shows Eddie's passion for the SmackDown show, SmackDown brand that he represents.
Absolutely. So tag team match here. The Dudley Boys return to SmackDown, but obviously in the brand extension, this would be their SmackDown debut, at least as the Dudleys. And they are taking on the Basham brothers. It is brother team against brother team. It's like the Attitude Era all over again. Dudleys versus Basham. A decent match, again, just like the opener, crowd was into RVD. They were big time into the Dudley Boys. Bashams were a great heel tag team. So a good tag team match. I give it 2.5 stars. Dudley's win with the 2D. Thoughts on
2D?
Thoughts on the 2D and thoughts on the Dudley Boys taking on the Bashams here.
It was these matches. Some of these matches are just like kind of showcase matches to like show off what these guys are. I don't know how you wouldn't know who the hell the Dudleys are, but like maybe you just got into wrestling.
You gotta set something up for them though. Like you can't just have them traded over to SmackDown and then like night one they ain't doing shit. Like, you can't do that. So
the Bashams are interesting because they're not very good, but they also haven't like reached their peak.
They lost Shaniqua, who left after No Way Out, and that was a big hit to the Basham brothers team.
But, they went from fucking BDSM people to being the lackeys of JBL.
Oh, they were great when in the cabinet, which that's
Yeah.
later, early next year. But they were great as JBL's lackeys in the cabinet. We have Kurt Angle in his office, but Booker T barges in and he asks Kurt Angle, "What is he about to do? What is he going to do about how Eddie Guerrero just jumped him?" Booker says he's not about to be disrespected like that. Great heel work here. He just disrespected everybody on this damn show all night. But when somebody disrespects him, when somebody stands up for themselves and stands up for everybody in that locker room who Booker T is disrespecting, that's disrespecting Booker T. Tremendous heel work here by the Booker man. He said he's not about to be disrespected like that. He also just adds on to the SmackDown hate, literally saying, "I hate SmackDown." Gosh, Booker, what do you got against SmackDown?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle says that SmackDown is about respect, and Eddie Guerrero may not respect Booker T right now, but he will at the end of the night. As Angle says, he beat Eddie Guerrero to a pulp at WrestleMania, but Eddie Guerrero obviously cheated to win. Now, remember I said about the tour that the tour will show up in the main story of tonight. Well, here you go. Because after WrestleMania, Eddie Guerrero went to Europe for a week and had to wrestle a grueling schedule, only to come back and wrestle Monday Night on Raw, defending his undisputed title against Triple H. He says Booker may not respect Eddie Guerrero, but by the end of the night, Eddie Guerrero is going to have to respect the new undisputed champion. Booker T is like, "What you mean by that?" To which, to which Kurt Angle says that Eddie Guerrero will face Booker T for the undisputed title tonight, and Booker kind of after this kind of in a way continues to disrespect SmackDown because it's not like his demeanor changes not one bit. He's got a shot at the title, and but Kurt Angle's like, "How do you feel about that?" And he's like, "This is essentially his reaction. I can dig it. I can
Yeah.
dig that." He's like no smile, no like, "I get a chance to be the champ tonight." He's like, I can dig it. I don't think he really digs it. He does not like
No.
he does not like the B show here. um, Again, Booker T was who did I say was the MVP of the last show? Oh, Heyman, right? I said Heyman was the
Yeah.
MVP of the last show. I think Booker T's the MVP of this show because the whole disrespecting SmackDown and just being absolutely just disgusted that he's here. He turned into a great heel at this time, and he's getting a title match, and he may just have the match of the night. Maybe a little spoiler on how I'm going to go about things. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the segment. What are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was good. Kurt Angle pretty much just saying, pretty much still pissed off that he lost at WrestleMania, so he's trying to spite Eddie Guerrero.
I mean, Eddie cheated. The
I
boot
mean,
went
Eddie,
flying.
kind of.
The boot went flying. He untied his boot. When has untying your boot been considered cheating in pro wrestling?
Exactly.
But again, it's being a good heel. You believe, even if you're not right, you believe what you think.
Yeah.
100%. So now we have the cruiserweight title. Chavo Guerrero is defending against SmackDown's newest, well, one of their newest wrestlers, Spike Dudley. And as Chavo comes out with the late great Chavo Classic, the Dudley boys are actually at ringside here. They just had a match. And we've gone through a few segments after that, but they did just have a match, and they're still at ringside because they want to see their boy, their brother, win the cruiserweight title, and they want to make sure that Chavo Classic does not get involved here. That being said, Chavo wins the match with a modified backbreaker. this this was a fun match.
Yeah.
Chavo, great cruiserweight, and Spike Dudley. This was the beginning, as we are going to see in a quick second. This was the beginning of the Boss and Spike Dudley, the best moment of his career, the best run in his career when he was the heel boss of the Dudleys, and
Little LSD.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, fun match. After the match, Spike Dudley is yelling at his brothers. He's saying he's tired of this. The Dudleys are trying to calm him down, but he ain't having nothing of it. And like I said, Michael Cole and Taz are just setting something up. I think they were maybe setting up the title match that was to come there, because they're just talking over this about something else.
Spike is like, oh, I'm getting character development, and Taz and Cole are like, so anyways, about the title match later tonight. Spike goes over commentary. I'm trying to get character development. So anyways, our title match tonight.
Like I said, I love Michael Cole and Taz, but yeah, we got character development going right in the middle of the ring, and Cole and Taz are just completely no selling it. But thoughts on the match, the cruiserweight title match, and the character development moment that happens afterwards.
It's good, but it does where does, because Paul Heyman comes in eventually.
Yes.
I guess Spike just disappears.
Disappears
He
when
might be hurt.
he may for the next couple of weeks, right? Yeah, because the Boss Spike Dudley thing kind of takes off around SummerSlam,
Yeah.
so maybe he does get hurt. Maybe, I'm not sure. And yeah, obviously, I see what you're saying, because Paul Heyman obviously joins up with Dudley, so, and maybe that's why. Damn, maybe that's why that happened, because the Boss thing was supposed to happen, and now they don't know what they're gonna do with the Dudleys because Spike maybe got hurt.
So they
Maybe that's why
they just killed Paul fucking Bearer.
Maybe Paul.
Sorry, we're gonna have to kill you, Paul. Oh no!
Maybe even Paul Heyman wasn't even supposed to return yet. That's interesting.
Paul Heyman's was relaxing, like, oh, thank God I finally have a few weeks off. Paul, Spike's hurt. We need you to kill Paul Bearer.
So Chavo retained here with a modified backbreaker. Like I said, that's not what Cole called it. Like I said, there were two matches.
Call anything.
There were two matches on this show where the match ended with a modified move. Troy, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Want to get high?
No.
You don't want to get high?
No.
You don't want to smack your TV?
No.
That is the next segment here. We get a nice little smack your TV commercial where Rey Mysterio is sitting on the couch and this fan with a fan, and the fan is watching SmackDown, and he's trying to be Rey Mysterio. He's jumping on his couch, and Rey Mysterio's like, no. Let me do that.
Do something for your life, you little shit.
Yeah. Then we have a recap of the best moments of last week's SmackDown episode before the Gauntlet screwed the second half of the show up. A recap of the APA split, a whole video package of everything, including, you expect me to leave just because you said something stupid? But we could still be friends, right?
Can't we still be friends?
And now we have JBL, the birth of
No.
JBL.
We have John Bradshaw Layfield.
John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, same character.
No.
They're not calling him JBL.
He is announced as John Bradshaw Layfield. That's his name.
They're not calling him JBL yet, but still,
they haven't figured out how to use his first three initials yet. It's like Triple H, how he used to be. He was Hunter Hearst Helmsley for years until they realized.
Uh,
H, Triple H. Oh my god.
it is the birth of the character, whatever you want to call it. JBL, John Bradshaw
Ding, ding,
Layfield.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, no mute, no moo. You were right, no moo yet.
Dun, 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 dun. Nothing.
Bradshaw JBL explains that he was horribly misunderstood last week. He said he did the right thing. With Heyman gone, though, JBL felt he had a chance to get his buddy Ron back, but he's not going to do that. Fans get pissed off and they boo that. JBL says he appreciates Ron, but he's got too much to worry about right now. He's got a portfolio that has beaten the stock market 7 of the last 7 years. So even before the Attitude Era, this guy was killing it in the stock
Yeah.
market. Um, he's got a financial book, and he's writing another book about keeping America strong. I don't think that ever came out. Because I don't remember it ever being promoted on WWE television. He's he says he's got a radio show starting May 1st where they're going to talk about politics and finances. He's the top financial analyst on TV. Fox News loves him until he does a certain salute in a certain country, but
Well,
that's too.
to be fair, you're legally not allowed to do that certain salute in that certain country.
Yeah, well, I get it. But I understand what he was doing. He was just trying to be a heel. So but he should have maybe, you know, he
Yeah.
should have asked. He should have asked around. Like, is this a good heel thing to do? Will this get me in trouble? He literally this whole character literally starts with him saying he's got everything to lose, and he literally
What if
loses
what if I'd
some of
used the Nazi salute in Germany?
he loses some of it. He doesn't lose all of it because obviously the book was still, as far as I remember, the book was still very successful. He was still. I don't know what happened to the radio show. He probably lost the radio show. Um, but yeah, Fox News dropped him like a bad habit. So yeah, things
Mhm.
things didn't go too well after that old Nazi salute. He said the fans would do the exact same thing if they were in his shoes. People like him run businesses and governments. And they started chanting, "You sold out." And that's when he says, "The only thing I sold was stock." When he said something about how the terrorist attacks had got everybody scared of their stocks. And that's what he's something like that.
I sold. I was there on 9/11. See that's what happens when we don't review the 9/11 episode because it's just JBL cutting a promo. That's his memorial segment. He's like, I'll never forget 9/11 where I was on Tuesday. I sold so many stocks. The
He's
towers weren't the only things that were falling. My stocks were falling.
He says he's always been smarter, better, and always worked harder than anybody else. And here's the big part of the segment. He says we're fixing to see an impact. Oh boy. Uh, I
TNA.
was I was gonna say he was kind of right because a couple of months later, he says we're fixing to see an impact. So get ready as business. He steals a line from Jr. here. He says as business is about to pick up. Great way to debut the JBL character here. JBL was a phenomenal heel. Look, the Nazi salute hurt him. I understand that, and he himself lost a lot of deals that he had at that time, but it didn't affect him on TV. He was still a great character, a character that if you saw people acting like this in real life, you would not want to associate yourself with. You would hate that person, but that is what makes a good heel. JBL was a damn good heel, and this promo was just the start of it. A great promo by Bradshaw. Your thoughts on the birth of JBL here.
It was a good promo to establish Brad JBL as
Master.
as a full fledged GL who
Yes.
it's because it's a whole new character. It's not the old Bradshaw.
No, the old Bradshaw would drink a bunch of beer with Farouk and
Yeah,
beat the hell out of people at the bar. The bars in the area for these Smackdowns were very happy because nobody was getting their asses beat anymore. Because
yeah.
JBL Farouk was no longer on the show, and JBL had he had a lot of stock and financial stuff to worry about, so he wasn't kicking ass in the bar.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
It's the good launching off point for the character.
absolutely. And the stay tuned, as they say, because the big impact moment is coming sooner than you think. But before we get to that, we see Booker T walking backstage as he's getting ready to challenge for the undisputed title before he is stopped by Hardcore Holly.
How do
Hardcore
you
Holly
like me now?
Hardcore Holly confronts Booker T. He says that you don't want to be here. Well, guess what? We don't want you here. And after Eddie Guerrero is done with you, there's a whole list of guys in this locker room who want to rip you apart. Hardcore Holly. This was a good a good small little segment here. Also, at one point at the beginning of it, Booker T tried to walk away, and Hardcore's like, "No, you ain't going nowhere." So good little segment there, quick segment. Hardcore Holly, just I mean, if there's somebody who's going off on the locker room, Eddie Guerrero was a great choice to go off on Booker T as he did earlier, but so is Hardcore Holly. So this is a good segment for Hardcore Holly. What are your thoughts on this?
It's the last grasp of Hardcore Holly being taken as a ultra serious threat because he had faced Brock at the Rumble,
Yeah,
and his stock had really kind of fallen since then. So it's just like, oh, I'm Hardcore Holly and I'm a veteran, so therefore, you don't want to be here. Fuck you. The Buck T's probably saying to himself, man, everyone fucking hates me.
I'm not. I'm not the biggest fan of Hardcore Holly, but segments like this are the perfect spot for him. So I totally understand why we got this segment. Main event time, sponsored by Atlanta Braves. Choke. You need you want to choke on something? The Atlanta Braves will help you out on that because
Choke on these nuts.
there's no better choke artist than the Atlanta Braves. And your main event for tonight, Eddie Guerrero defends the undisputed title against Booker T. And this match gets thrown out after JBL interferes and attacks Eddie Guerrero, but not before, excuse me. Booker T and Eddie Guerrero kind of put on a damn good match for about a good 10 minutes here. It was fun. It is easily my match of the night. I gave it 4 stars. Great ending, too, with JBL interfering. This was the impact. He said he was
Oh
going to
no,
make.
hold on, Frank.
Okay.
You might want to change the choke of the night.
What? Oh, no.
You
What?
might want to
What?
change the choke of the fucking night.
Hold on. Let me see. Um, oh, wow. That's all right. We're still going to win the
So our
series.
main event here, folks, is brought to you by
No. No.
by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who
No.
choked. That's great. That's great chemistry. See, I told you it was going to happen.
Thunder and 5.
You counted out the Pacers' faces, and I'm going to beat your fucking sorry asses.
Thunder and
Uh,
5, baby. That's fine. Thunder and 5.
yeah, it's
For
gonna the Pacers gonna beat your ass just like
no.
Sarah Nurse.
How dare you bring up that horrible tragic moment again. You're banned for bringing that up.
This is a shit day for you.
No, there is no bringing up the fact that Sarah Nurse is now on Vancouver. We are not bringing that up. That is a
Yeah,
tragic.
she's a Canucks fan now.
No, that is a tragic. I really thought you were trying to say I missed something on the show. I'm like, I literally just watched this
No, I literally
before
just
we
checked the
went live.
score because I was like curious to see if the Pacers had come back, and they did. So that's why he kind
The
of set it up perfectly.
the sponsor for the main event does not change. The
No, it's co-sponsored now by the
no
Braves and the Thunder, who
no.
both had equally as crazy choke jobs.
The Thunder is still going to win a championship this year. The Braves won't. So, yeah, like I said, main event.
They won the Western Conference championship. There you go.
No. They're going to win the
Yep,
NBA title. Thunder in 5. Uh, I give this match 4 stars. Like I said, for a good 10 minutes, Eddie and Booker T had the crowd in the palm of their hands. It was a fun match. 4 stars for me. Eddie Guerrero, JBL's attack at the end was great too. I was actually looking through 411 Mania, one of their reviews, and this is literally like right after the show happened, and these guys were obviously bitching about it. Like, oh my gosh, Eddie Guerrero and Booker T could have had a great feud. What are they doing with this JBL guy? And JBL and Eddie Guerrero, their feud in the summer of
Yeah.
2004, which is kicking off literally with this match, with the interference of this match, is still remembered to this day. It was one of, if not the best feud storylines of this whole year. So, 411 Mania, I don't know what we would have got out of a Eddie Guerrero Booker T feud. It could have been good, but it wasn't going to be something we remember all these years later. So, 411 Mania cried about it, and it ended up being one of the greatest feuds of
To be fair, they
2004.
didn't know what Bradshaw was going to be.
I mean, did you not watch the promo? He looked pretty damn good in that promo. Looked like a
Yeah.
damn good deal to me. So yeah, great ending. Match of the night, Booker T, Eddie Guerrero. I'm currently leaning towards 2 segments for my segment of the night. And I am going to go with. Let me think about this a little bit. You know what? Because of his passion, because of how the locker room, the whole thing with the locker room, him being so energetic with everybody. I'm going with the Eddie Guerrero in the locker room with Booker T and everybody else who was in that segment. That's my segment of the night. I
Okay.
was leaning towards JBL promo because it was so good, but I just got it. Eddie Guerrero was so good. Booker T was so good in it too. So essentially, the segment of the night is awarded to both Eddie Guerrero and Booker T. No disrespect to any of the other guys who were in that segment, but the segment was won by Guerrero and Booker T. Match of night and segment of the night.
My match of the night would be the main event.
Okay.
And did you give your overall star rating for the show yet?
I was waiting until you give segment of the night.
Segment of the night is the Eddie and Eddie Pro
Okay.
in the back.
Yeah, I agree. So we're in full agreement there. Overall, this show had a lot going on. Booker T, like I said, was the MVP. Not only segment of the night, but he also got match of the night. But the whole thing with him just going around, he established himself as a great heel tonight. And to be honest, so did JBL. You got JBL promo. You got how the match, how the show ended with JBL saying he was going to make an impact, and he did by going right after the WWE champion. Um, the whole thing with Spike Dudley, what was happening there? If you're watching this in 2004 eyes, like why is he so mad? Obviously, he lost a chance at the cruiserweight title, but it's like why is he getting mad at his brothers?
Yeah.
It may have taken a little while to find out why he was mad because I guess he got hurt, like you said. Even John Cena they started the John Cena Rene Dupree feud with that promo. That was great. And Kurt Angle being GM. Kurt Angle's first night as GM. I guess you feel like he could have been on the show a little more, but again, with this being the first show after the draft, you gotta establish some of the Raw guys who have come over to SmackDown. So I understand why we didn't see Kurt Angle that much. My overall, I will give this 8.5 out of 10. I enjoyed this show thoroughly. Tro, your rating out of 10.
I'd give this a solid 7 out of 10. Some forgettable mid-card stuff, but Eddie's promo and the main event and that Cena winning certified vibes.
Oh yeah, you're reading that off of
What? No, this is
Chat GPT.
yo. If y'all remember this episode dropping comment, what was your favorite SmackDown moment of that post WrestleMania era?
Chat GPT has not watched a single episode of our show. First off, Chat GPT actually had me actually knocking the Divas era. Chat GPT has never watched a single episode of our show.
No. Because according to our script, it says right here, Frank. Of course, we got to mention that Dawn Marie and Tori Wilson segment.
Which there was none. There was none.
They got their shows mixed up. I think that early WWE, that early 2000 WWE Divas drama content, not aging great, but it's part of the era.
Yeah,
That's exactly what you say.
No, I've never said that before in my life.
It literally says you said it right here.
Yeah, ChatGPT does not watch this this YouTube series that we have going on here. They've not watched. We've done 88 episodes.
We can't tell you what they said about us, the certain co-hosts. When I actually think about that.
We've done 88 episodes now, and ChatGPT has not watched a single one of them.
Now,
the way I talked too, like I talk like a legit YouTuber, like trying to be cool with the kids, like all the YouTubers do. Like,
well, say catchphrase. Come on, Frank. We all know it's.
Yeah.
Until next time, peace, love, and Latino heat.
I mean, at least that makes sense because Eddie Guerrero was a big part of the show. But no, that's not how I end shows.
Yeah, it also said we just kept on saying FCT.
FCT.
Now drop. We don't have the ENT in the script.
It is the name of the show. It is literally on both of my name tags for this episode, so kind of worked out.
And don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when FCT drops a classic review. We got more heat coming. That's right, folks. We're reviewing Sunday Night Heat next.
Yeah, no. The funny thing is, a long time ago, I actually asked Meta AI about us, and they said like
we were unboxing.
Yeah, we did unboxings. We did a bunch of random shit, like shit we don't do. Like they were way off. But you asked the question before you asked them to do a transcript of tonight's episode. You asked them what we are, them being ChatGPT. ChatGPT actually gave a great description of this channel, including putting all three of our names in it.
The content includes classic pay-per-view wrestling reactions, wrestling
reviews.
Highlights.
They kind of screwed that up, but yeah.
Now, I did not know this at the time, but this explains why they recommended this, why they used this as an example. Mm-hmm. CJ obviously earlier today uploaded those shorts. Very nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too. The titles of the shorts were in there.
Yeah, like, for instance, see, I didn't know that he uploaded them, so I was like, wow, it's like they're picking like this really random ass AEW review that I did with CJ a couple. It was good. Yeah. It was a good review because we just met AEW is the funniest thing AEW ever did. But
yeah, he was looking. He was looking for some editors this morning. He actually, I like woke up in the middle of day today and just happened to like look at my phone and I had a message from him. I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, hey, if I bring in some editors, can you pay them? I'm like, not necessarily, but which
I think whatever he used turned out pretty well.
Oh, absolutely. Jason Static, who has been on the show before, not FCT Retro Wrestling Reviews, but been on the channel before, actually told him about the app that he used, that Christian used to upload those shorts, and I am going to probably download that app too. I gotta look into it because we got to do some shorts of our stuff, man. Some of the funny stuff from our episodes, we gotta create those shits, man. Jason Static
Yeah,
said to
I was watching the way I described the barbed wire match, the exploding barbed wire. I'm like, oh man, I didn't know I explained it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, so Christian actually put out on his Facebook this morning, like, anybody who can edit and do something else. I guess create shorts and all that and promote. Yeah, promote. That's what the big thing was. So Jason started commenting on like, you just got to be able to post every day, and here's how I post every day. I use this app where you create shorts and then you do it in a minute. And I had checked the channel that or later the day. And I'm like, oh shit, he really did try the app.
It looks
And
professional.
yeah, I haven't watched any of them, but I do see the shorts are there.
Yeah.
He didn't pull up anything from our recent episodes, but
No, but it's fine.
yeah, oh absolutely. And they're getting decent amount of views for what we get. Like some of them have 100, 200 views. So
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
I'm becoming popular, Frank. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have grown you.
No, those shorts are getting views because of me. Even though I'm not in.
I think they're getting them because I'm putting AEW in the title, so
Yeah.
the algorithm is gonna go to that. So.
But yet, if people are gonna come here for AEW bashing, like
Yeah,
don't talk.
good
I
luck with
don't
that.
watch. I don't watch AEW. I'm not here to review anything they do. So you and Christian would have to start doing more AEW shits. So unless you want to do them by yourself,
No.
yeah. So you don't even care about AEW. So you don't even want to watch. So yeah, it may not be the smartest thing to do to put AEW shorts because we don't talk about AEW on.
Well, AEW is the topic of the shorts.
I know, but I think that's what he was probably thinking. Like AEW bashing is probably the way to go. Well, we don't do that on this channel.
It's getting views.
Yeah, but then people are gonna see that and be like, "Oh, these guys talk a lot about AEW." So
Well, they just have to click on any of our content, and they'll see that we literally never talk about AEW.
And then those people might possibly leave once they realize that.
Like, all that matters is that we get the views. At least if someone finds us someone funny, then they'll stick around.
Yeah, well, we can only hope.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what was some of our funny. We got to get some of your Paul Bearer.
We need TJ Tampa, obviously.
Well, we got to get some of your Paul Bearer stuff, especially the Buffy. Maybe, especially with the Buffy revival coming. Like Paul Bearer was a huge Buffy fan, and he would love the Buffy revival.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got shorts now. Check out the channel. We got a ton of brand new shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I think that's just about it.
Yeah, as I was going to say, you got anything else on the March 25th, 2004?
No.
Okay, so we will be continuing the road to Judgment Day as maybe tomorrow. You want to do a show tomorrow?
I don't know because I'm working Brooklyn Comic Con on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And those are going to be long days. Like
okay.
Really.
Yeah,
it's going to be taxing on the body and the mind.
Yeah, well, at some point we will continue the road to Judgment Day. We will. We
If
got.
you're watching this and if you're somehow watching this before the weekend, and you're in the Brooklyn area, come on down to Brooklyn Comic Con.
There you go.
Check out the LARPing booth. We'll be there all day, pretty much. We'll be there both days, pretty much, all
Yeah.
day. And check out the pro wrestling outside if it's not raining.
Be sure to tell people about the channel too. If you know, even if like just ask them like if you just so happen to be a
Just
wrestling fan.
just run in the ring. FCT.
I was gonna say the
Well,
people in
Rikishi was
your.
at the show. Rikishi was there
Oh
last
really?
year.
Oh cool. I was gonna say you at your booth, the LARPing booth. Just be like,
FCT, come on down.
just when anybody walks by, just be like, hey, if you're a wrestling fan, I have a wrestling channel on YouTube, FCT. Check us out.
Are you an Islander? like we,
Oh
are you an
yeah.
Islander Bears Met fan? Are you a Bears, an Islander, a Giants, a Jet, not Jets? Are you a Bears, Mets, Islanders, the Thunder, Vancouver, PWHL Vancouver,
PWHL
PWH?
Toronto.
just
Toronto
like name. I just
Senators.
name all our sports teams. If you're a
PWHL.
fan of either of these teams, yeah, any of these teams, come watch our channel.
I do not consider myself a PWHL Vancouver fan just yet.
Are you a
But
fan of Sarah Nurse and Sarah Nurse specifically?
there you go. But I am a Scepters fan. No matter what happens, I will still be a Scepters fan.
Mhm.
But if Vancouver picks up Olivia Knowles, I will have two teams this year. But I'm even if they don't, I'm gonna have to consider. I'll be watching Vancouver next year a lot because they have Sarah. But yeah. So we this that's it with the March portion of the Road to Judgment Day. We will be getting into April in our next show, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. It should be, right? So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I think the next episode will be April 1st. The April
Ooh.
1st, 2004 edition of Smackdown. Tro will not be here as he is fired tonight for
Damn.
mocking Sarah Nurse, the tragic moment of Sarah Nurse leaving the Scepters and joining the PWHL
That
Vancouver.
episode, you're going to be coming out in a suit and saying, "My name is no longer Frank. It's Frank middle name Hudson."
No, next week, I will be joined by my new co-host Jessica Biel, and we are now FCJENT.
FCJ, FCJ, FCJ. Oh,
FCJ.
yeah,
Uh, well, yeah. Welcome Jessica Biel to the team. She will be here
yeah.
next week with me.
Start. There you go. There's a first short. Add Jessica Biel to the shorts list.
Absolutely, that would definitely get us a lot of views. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at her on The Better Sister. She looks amazing on that show, and that's the best show going on TV right now. Watch it on Prime. It's an amazing show, and Elizabeth Banks looks amazing too. But anyway, that is all for tonight's show.
Yep.
We will see you in about 5 years when we review the
Yeah.
April 1st, 2004 edition SmackDown. We will continue the road to Judgment Day. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and do the 10 bell salute on that on the notification button, but notification bell. But please, once you're done with that, please make sure that it lands on notifications on. So thank you, and we will see you again soon.